Hey everybody, me here. You know who I am. Um, I'm here in the Paladins PTS today, specifically because um, I want to talk about a few things that are relevant to me. First of all, new character Talus the Flank, who, as you can see by the green bar, I've already tried out, and obviously, if I didn't, then there wouldn't really be any point into me talking about it. And two, Torvald, my main. And of course, since this is PTS, it doesn't keep up with my regular playtime, which is why he shows up as only level 11. That's irrelevant because he's also undergone some major changes, like really major. Um, and I will show a comparison after this, and that's why I'm doing this video now, is because I want to be able to have that context of before and after, before the PTS overwrites the main game. So basically, now his gauntlet it's got range. It's no longer an auto-targeting mechanic similar to Overwatch's Symmetra. His Nullify now has been changed. It used to be called Runic Blast, and now it has the same animation as his former attack did, only it lasts for 2.5 seconds, and during that time it will silence whoever it's locked onto, meaning that they can't use any abilities or any of their damage, weapons rather, and it does 800 damage over that duration, which is pretty major considering that formerly, yeah, so now Nullify does 500 more damage. Now, the legendary code used to just be that it would deal 500 damage, period, but 500 more, that's quite a lot, actually. So he's got more versatility, long and short range. His recharge does the same as it used to, except now it doesn't siphon enemy shields, so that utility is gone. It used to be that Torvald didn't need to get Wrecker because it was kind of irrelevant to him. You could just siphon the shield and do more damage than he could just by having his attack, which had such a low damage anyway. But that's fine. I mean, you can adapt to that. And fortunately, his ultimate is the same, and so is his protection field. Now, another thing is that he lost quite a bit of health. Fortunately, you can get that back with a legendary card, but it doesn't show up here. So that's why I'm gonna go out into the battlefield and show rather than just tell, because it's more effective that way. So I'll play some Torvald, and this is PTS, so this is gonna be against bots, but whatever, it's fine. I'll probably be doing more videos further down the line. More official ones anyway. So first I'm going to do Torvald and sort of talk about his changes and show how his changes have affected him, and then I'll do some Talus. Now Talus, I already like him. I mean, he's obviously going to get nerfed because he's new, but I can see myself using him quite often. So let's just get right into the battlefield here. Okay, so we're in the fight now. My go-to is the Field Study Legendary because, I'm a team player. The Legendaries basically work the same, though, otherwise. This one always did 1.5 second increased duration for the recharge. This one always gave it 500 damage, or in this case, 500 more. This one is 40% more damage increase, so that's for Alice with the shield. That's not different at all. We're not here to talk about Torvald just as a character. We're here to just talk about him as the changes have happened. So already you can see, you know what? People have had their opinions on this. I think that he really needed that range, because, I mean, yeah, I get it. He's a tank. He's going to be fighting on the front line anyways, but, and it's going to be interesting to see that we'll be playing against a Torvald as well, so. And also, another thing is that they've changed the location of where the ability trees are, so I'll show you the differences in the previous ones. used to be that... Oh, so recharge used to be the left trigger, and nullify used to be the right bumper. Well, when you're playing with a controller it is. But when you're playing with just mouse and keyboard, so now it's... So that was always U. So F is now recharge, and the right click is now nullify. So they've reversed what the... Oh man, this is... I never play with mouse and keyboard. I mean, don't judge me. But I'm sure you'll figure that out as necessary. So he's got a lot more utility now, and the range especially, especially on this map. It's really good for him, because before you'd have to get up right up in their face and just, that wasn't really as effective. I'm just really glad that his ultimate hasn't changed, because that was really bad. But you can kind of see the range is really good. It's definitely a welcome change, and wow, a bot Sky got a quadra kill. Oh yeah, so you can see the damage there with the siphon. I mean, not playing against humans, you could say that maybe he's more broken, but I guess it remains to be seen how he'll react when there's going to be humans in play. Yep, I knew it.
So it begins.
Time's ticking.
Wow. I'm impressed. So as you can see, 6 kills, 22 assists, or whatever. No death. Zin only died once. So these are the kinds of things that you can get when you're playing as Torvald. Now, another thing that I will mention that I forgot to mention in the middle of the game is that obviously, since Nullified now is over the course of 2.5 seconds, you can't do anything else while that's happening. So before it was just you'd blast them and it was an area of effect, and then you could do whatever else. So it's hard to remember to be able to put shields on people. But again, these are just the changes that I guess they felt that they needed to make. And as you also notice, Torvald has less health than he used to. So that's another change that is just going to have to be adapted to. So just popping into the shooting range real quick, you can see that now Torvald's new health bar, with my loadout anyways, is 5,800. I don't think that's his base health. His base health is 5,500. So you can increase that up to 6,100 with the card setup. Those are his health and shield changes, but he still has the 2,000 shield bar, which is good. And just for context, his projectiles don't go across the whole map, so you can still hit enemies pretty far away. Now the fall off is, let's see what the fall off is here. There is no fall off. Okay, so that's good. So it's going to be 200 damage no matter how far away you are, and it doesn't go across the whole map, which is also fine. So basically, let's talk about how the changes have affected Torvald compared to how it used to be. So here we are, with regular Paladins as it should be. Now, the legendary cards, as I said, here you can see the difference. So this one has not changed at all. Neither has this one. Field Study still gives a 40% damage boost to allies that are under your protection. Basically when they have one of your shields on them. This one, as I said before, this one just made your Rune of Blast deal 500 damage. Just that's it. Base damage 500. That card has not really changed, but it kind of has a little bit based on the change of what it is affecting, which I will show you here. is, as I'm sure you probably know because this is how Torvald has played since he came out. His gauntlet is obviously, again, the biggest change, as you can see here. Before, it was just blasts of energy that dealt 200 damage per shot. This one is 50 damage every 0.1 second, which is, quite a lot, but not really. I think he's got more DPS with his changes in PTS, honestly. The recharge, how that's changed is the cooldown is the same, but now you cannot siphon enemy shields. As you probably noticed when I was playing in PTS against the bot Torvald, I was not able to suck his shield off of him. So that's one thing. Now, that's not going to be too much of a problem if you've got a good team that has Wrecker, or at least somebody with Wrecker. Because Torvald, his siphoning used to have a very, very good 2,000 shield per second. And the fact that it lasts 2.5 seconds, that's a lot. That's a lot of shields to lose if you're the enemy. So that's one drawback. But how that having been said, it shouldn't change him too much because he can still get his shield back, and the cooldown has not changed, which is good. Now, the one thing that has changed is Runic Blast has changed to Nullify. Now, Runic Blast at its base, without any, without changing it at all with cards, base cooldown is 14 seconds, which is a lot to silence and disarm enemies for 1.5 seconds. The Nullify change, the cooldown is 12 seconds. Now, 2 seconds, that's a lot in the middle of a fight. 2 seconds can make all the difference in the world. Now, the new change, Nullify, as you saw again, it still silences and disarms enemies, but this time it lasts for 2.5 seconds, and over the course of that happening, it locks onto only one enemy, and it does 800 damage over the duration. Not 800 damage per second, it's just over the course of the whole thing. You can increase that to 1,300 with the legendary that I showed you earlier, but that will be really helpful for finishing off enemies that you aren't currently shooting at, basically. I think the only real drawback to the new system is that with Runic Blast, it would affect any enemies in the very tiny radius around you, whereas with Nullify, it locks onto one enemy. Now, that could be a problem. It could be both a good thing and a bad thing, sorry. Good thing would be that you would be able to actually, if there's one target that you really didn't want to use their abilities, you wanted to make sure that they couldn't, you could do that. If there was an enemy that had really low health and you just couldn't shoot them in time, or if for whatever reason your aim just sucked that day, or just in general, you can lock onto them. If they're 800 health or less, they will die. The Runic Blasts, you were able to just pop that off right away. If you were hooked by a Makoa, you could just blast him right in the face and you could get away because you couldn't shoot you or use any other abilities. So, you kind of have to take the bad with the good. But I think that the Nullify is a little bit better, in my humble opinion. So my cards here, my health is increased by 450. But still, that means that Torvald's base health was 7,000. His base health was 7,000. That's already a huge difference. To see his health go down, I think that's what was it, like 1,500? So he's got like 5,000 something health now. With the changes in PTS, I think it was like 5,500? But he's just really powerful. Just super powerful in top tier gameplay. You don't really see Torvald mains too often, but they exist. They really do. So here you can see, I'm not killing this Pip as fast as I would have with his new abilities. Shields are the same, but again you can see his abilities are in different places with the controller. Silencing, there. Now he's silenced, and it's just one quick pop. Shields being sucked off. Sucked out, sorry. That was lewd. I apologize. He had more reasons to get cauterize over anything else, but now since each shot does 200 base damage, you can realistically have good reason to get Wrecker or Bulldozer, and still be useful, because 50 base damage meant that to increase it by 100%, still not a significant difference to a lot of things, really. So now with 200 base damage, you'll be able to get a lot of damage done real quick. So just based on my gameplay, my playstyle alone, it's I feel like, and I was good with Torvald before. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend that I wasn't and be modest. I'm a really good Torvald, and I'm even better with the new changes. But you know what? Talk is cheap, especially when I'm playing against bots. Yeah, you know what? I'm acknowledging that. I think I'm really good playing against bots. Time will tell. When I'm playing against human players, I might change my mind. But at the moment, just noticing the difference in playstyle. But you know what? I'm playing against bots now, and I'm not doing. I mean, I've already died. So there's that, right? As you can see, there's a world of difference in his playstyle, and me personally, I think it's a really good change. Not everyone's gonna like it. I mean, I've already seen some people have a really big problem with it, and that's fine. This game is in beta. Hi-Rez is gonna change some things as they see fit, and according to the data mining, the new champion's gonna be a tank, and he's gonna be able to siphon shields. So maybe Torvald just wasn't working for them the way they wanted him to work. But they're not just gonna remove a champion. They're just gonna change him, see how he does. So maybe the shield siphoning will be better with this new tank champion, right? Good lord, how did he survive that? It's really up to Hi-Rez. If the change really does suck that much, and maybe I'm the only one in the world who actually likes the changes, then fair enough. Hi-Rez does listen to feedback, even if they won't completely erase a change like they did with the essence system. They still heard the feedback, they listened to it, and they made it easier to grind out the essence. So, just give them feedback. They do listen, they do care. They can't afford to not listen to their fans. So, tell them what you think. If you think it's a good change, then good. That's a great thing to hear. You accept it, you've adapted to change. If you don't like it, that's fine too. As long as you're not a jerk about it. Just give them feedback. Give them honest feedback and say, why it doesn't work. What reason does it have for needing to not be as it is? Oh, does it encourage more flanky gameplay from Torvald? Maybe you think that. I personally don't think so. I don't think weapon range has anything to do with whether a tank is going to play as a flank or not, because, as we all know, what's the meta right now? Flank Nando, Flankus. Any tank can be a flank if you just want to not play your role. I don't think how your weapon works has anything to do with that. But, you know what? If you have a good reason for thinking that, then that's fine. I'm not here to lecture you about, what to do about feedback and all that stuff. I'm just here to show you what the changes are and what I think of them. And what I think about the changes is I think they are good and I think they were needed. Because again, Torvald, what Torvald was lacking in was range. Because now, see, I can't look at the enemies that are like really low health and just go, I can shoot them from that far away. I need to be right up in their face, I need to get over here, and I need to I need to face off, right? I need to face off with them. So that's basically what I have to say about Torvald. I mean, it is what it is. Little can change about it, and it's working out pretty well. Now, let's talk about Talus. He's the newest champion in the game. I think the last update was one of the first updates in a while that a new champion was not added. Because Strix was added in update 57. And this is update 59 in the PTS. And I've already got some skins for him. He's actually got a really good skin, and it's called Geist, and it basically turns his skin blue, and it's really cool. Now, this is kind of a side note, but his voice sounds so familiar. I'm getting like a real Kathy Westluck vibe from him. Probably isn't. I'm probably wrong. But still, he kind of has that vibe to it. He's a pretty... Now, his backstory is, he comes from a race of creatures that are sort of looked down upon, you know, seen as lesser beings, but what... And this is Paladins we're talking about, so, you know, lore isn't really a thing yet. I'm sure it will be once it comes out of beta, but what they've given us is that, you know, he's a really happy-go-lucky. He doesn't really let he doesn't really let it affect him that he's seen as a lesser type of being. Now, his 3 legendaries. Raging Demon is that you don't consume ammo while Overcharge is active. Overcharge is pretty much as self-explanatory as it gets. You fire faster, 33% faster with your primary weapon. Legendary 2 is your Rune of Travel no longer automatically activates when the duration ends. So I'll explain that later, but basically you don't the cooldown's reset if you don't use it. And this one, Rune of Travel now resets the cooldown of Overcharge and Blitz Upper when it activates, which is really cool. So I don't have any loadouts made for him yet, but I'm going to get Chronos because, you know, it's good for him to have. So his weapon works like an SMG, and it's got the same fire sound as Hi-Rez weapon does. So Overcharge, the legendary to not consume ammo while Overcharge is active, is really helpful for him. So his abilities are, when you're playing with a controller, the left trigger basically charges forward and hits an enemy, kind of like Doomfist in Overwatch. If you're playing with mouse and keyboard, that ability changes to, I believe, the right mouse button. Wow, I'm dying way too often. I can't focus. I should have just done like a blind test, but whatever. So he's got 41 ammunition. I don't know if I wasn't really looking at his basic card loadout. I don't know if you can change. You probably can increase the ammo count, but Overcharge with the legendary, it's really good to not consume ammo. So that's a really good ability there. It's just charge forward and deck them. Now here's what the rune does. Okay, so you set like a teleport. You can go out and for 10 seconds, you can still use it, and after the 10 seconds are up, it automatically puts you back. So. So for the legendary that doesn't activate it, if you don't use it, it'll put you. It'll reset the ability. Now his legendary is really cool. From anywhere in the map, it'll lock. I don't know if you can lock onto an enemy or if it locks on for you, but from anywhere in the map, press the button and bam, you're teleported to them and you knock the crap out of them. And that's play the game right there. So, oh wow, see, yeah, he's really good. Probably too good. I feel kind of bad about what I just did there. But you know what, they're bots, it's fine. They're programmed to lose. Well, you know, not really, but they should be used to it. Oh, good, that was actually very beneficial for me. You know, the timer was right there on the HUD, right up in my face, and I still wasn't paying attention to it. Now the charge, the Blitz Upper charge forward, it does 600 damage, so that's pretty good to take out squishies with, or finishing off tanks because they've got obviously bigger hitboxes, duh. So basically, he's a really good character to use, and except for the really shoddy beginning, he can be super powerful at usually just finishing off enemies, as SMGs work, right? Oh, this is just too good. So the cards work, you know, depending on your playstyle. I usually go for Chronos because I like to have my abilities there to get stuff done with. So we'll see how new Torvald can handle my my abilities. Oh crap. Bye, Genos. Oh wow. Thanks, Ruckus. You didn't even help me with him. Now his ultimate does also 600 damage, so both of his charges do the same amount of damage. Which is fine. I mean, you know, he's not a damage champion. He's not supposed to do a lot of damage to a lot of people. Like I said, just he finishes them off. But kill to heal would also be really good for Talus because of that. Because your job, obviously as a flank, but especially as this character, just get around the battlefield, pick people off. Because unlike some other champions like Maeve or Skye, who can kind of go one-on-one with people, you kind of want to be the guy that just, like, you wait and then you pick people off as necessary. Wait to see who's got low health and then just go in for the kill, right? And hopefully not do what I just did and suck. But, you know, for the most part, I'm really liking Talus. I fully expect him to be nerfed probably pretty quickly, but, you know, for a while at least we can enjoy, you know, what he can do at the moment, which is just go in there with his gun and just kill things really, really well. And it's also got the fantasy look to it, which is really nice to see. You know, it's got like this stone look to it, which is the angle that they're going for, like a pseudo-fantasy. You know, if guns existed in Dungeons and Dragons, they wouldn't be made out of metal, right? They'd be made out of stone. You've got runes and things. And I don't know what kind of inspiration Hi-Rez is drawing for him, but especially with his little hat, I don't know if you saw before, I'll probably go back to the menu to show him the cosmetics he has. It looks a lot like Midna from Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Like, it looks like the Twilight Princess hat. It really does. So, I mean, if it's an inspiration, then, you know, more power to them, fair enough. Because, I mean, who doesn't like some Zelda? What happened to your hair, Kanessa? You're bald. Did you see that? She was bald. So is Jenna. What happened to everyone's hair? And, of course, I was still respawning. But you know what? That's fine. Because we won. And look at that T-pose. Look at that T-pose right there. They need to fix that. They probably will before PTS is done. Oh, this is so good. Look at those glitches there. That was me activating my ult. Wow. See, that's how powerful Talus can be if you use him properly. Well, now let's take a look at his cosmetics before I'm done with this video, shall I? So, his accessories are, he's got his hat. So you see the default is kind of more basic and stone. The Geist one that I have, it's got more of a silver. Well, I wouldn't call it silver because it's stone, but it's more gray. And this one here, it's kind of got blue to it. So you know, I think this one actually probably works more with the Geist set. So that's pretty simple. The basic is more red in color. So as you can see, he's not supposed to be that blue. So Moonstone, you've got his regular body color. He's got the red sash, which, I mean, I'm a fan of the red color, but this is kind of cooler because it changes his whole skin. And then you've got the his weapon, which the default is, you know, the kind of simple drab. I would call that kind of a maroon almost. And then with the Geist, it's got the dark gray trim to it. And then Moonstone is the blue outline with the red trim, which actually, again, Moonstone goes better with I think the Geist skin with the Moonstone accessories would be a lot better to sort of keep with the blue theme. But that's fine. This is just PTS. It's not a huge deal. His emotes, the basic one, pretty simple, easy to follow. This one, yep, that's TF2 Scout, but you know what? That's not. I wouldn't really call that stealing from TF2 because, I mean, baseball, right? It's a baseball thing, so whatever. Obviously, he doesn't have any other voice set, but this is kind of,
Sorry.
in case you didn't hear before.
Good game. Capture the objective.
So that's Talus, and oh, that's a nice pose. Look at that. And his tail, he's got the Nightcrawler tail. So that's, you know what, I like it. I'm a huge fan of the Talus character so far, and it's gonna suck to see him nerfed, because he will get nerfed. I guarantee it. I'm calling it right now. Not before Strix though. Strix needs a nerf too. Real quick though, I'll touch up on some of the new things that have been added as well. New skins. I don't know if these are for Halloween or if these are just for, you know, whatever. Pirate Barrack. Now, you know what? I really hate these kinds of arguments. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not gonna. But, you know, recognizing that these are things that happen on the internet, this really is going to just kick off a whole new Overwatch versus Paladins argument. Paladins copied Overwatch, blah, 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 whatever. I don't care. You know what? Because pirates are cool. All right? That's all I have to say. Pirates are cool. Makoa has also kind of a big change as well. His accessory now, it's changed to his shell. Obviously, they forgot to change the name because his shell's called the Googly Eyes. Now, that's both a good thing and a bad thing, because now you have the option to... You can have his volcanic shell on his obsidian body, which is really cool. I like that. I really do. Genuinely, I do. But, you know what's going to be sorely missed? Is putting those nightmare-inducing googly eyes on a body that wasn't meant to have them. So now you're forced to stick with the eyes that go with the regular body, which, you know, neither here nor there. But let's talk about his new set that goes with Barracks. I mean, do I even have to say it? This is so badass. He's a ghost pirate man from the captain of the Flying Dutchman, which is that's just way back in pirate lore. Like, that goes so back. And it's just, I'm almost at a loss for words for how cool that looks. I almost never play Makoa anymore, but that looks so cool. And it's just really amazing. It really is. Now, there's also some new changes. There's changes to the VIP store now. Dance emotes. So Ying has a belly dance emote, which is... I mean, they did a pretty good job doing the coding for that. Lex has what they call the bad cop, which this I gotta see. Oh, look at this. Getting down to Funky Town. That is super hilarious. That's just too good. Oh, what else have they added to the VIP store? Let's take a look here.
Cancel that.
Oh yeah, Kinessa has a Star Silver set. That's so I guess that basically takes her Nova Strike. Yeah, that's a recolor for Nova Strike, which is fair enough. I mean, you know, they did the same thing with Ying's Quicksilver skin.
Battle has begun.
Also, they've added Heartbreaker to the to the VIP store collection. Shattermaw, I believe that's an Androxus gun. Oh yeah, and Shaolin has this dorky dance here. What a nerd. Shaolin, you're a nerd. So that's basically it for the big changes. I mean, I just wanted to sort of show off the Torvald and Talus and sort of talk about how Torvald works differently. Basically, I do like it as a Torvald main. I was really nervous at first for the changes, but you know what? He really needed that range because he had the shortest range of all the tanks, even shorter than Fernando, and which isn't a bad thing because I mean, like I said, he's a tank. He's going to spend all his time on the point anyway. But I think this will really help him be more versatile and be able to protect himself against enemies farther away, like Willows and Kinessas, for example, and especially Shaolins, because Shaolins melt tanks. And they can do it from far away.